Hello brass players, new and old. My name is Cole Gallagher and today we're going to have another brass video lesson. This time about my favorite instrument, you guessed it, the trombone. Let's not waste any more time, ladies and gentlemen, and let's get to assembling this bad boy. When you open up your case, you're probably going to find three main parts. You'll find the slide, which makes the trombone the instrument that it is. The slide is made out of two parts, really. The outer slide, which is the bronze piece, and the inner slide, which is the silvery inner piece. They should never ever be disconnected unless for cleaning purposes. They should always be kept together. The next piece you'll find in there is the bell. The bell, it's called the bell of the slide because, well, this little bell kind of flares out. This is called a bell. If you flip it this way, it looks more like one. Yours probably isn't going to have all this extra tubing on it. I only have that because this is a more advanced instrument as an attachment, but we're not going to get into that. That's for a later video. Yours probably only have the basic tubing. It really doesn't make a difference. And then the third piece is, well, it's just called the mouthpiece. If you remember our trumpet video, trumpet also had a mouthpiece. This serves the same exact function as it does on the trumpet. It basically creates the sound. So, how do you put the trombone together? This is kind of tricky. It's not as easy as a trumpet where you just slide the mouthpiece in. There's another part to it because, you know, you have another part than the trumpet has. Basically what you do, take your slide, take your bell, make it so that they're at like a 90-degree angle, like this. See what I'm saying? And then you just kind of just place it in it at the 90-degree angle in there. The slide goes on the right side of the bell. I really have never seen anyone use it on the left side, even lefty players. I don't think that that's even a thing. So keep it on the right side. And this is the hardest part I see new people struggle with when putting together a trombone, the screw. The screw is what holds the slide and the bell together. You can't just stick it in, it just sucks on, kind of like the mouthpiece. You have to slide, you have to screw it in. So all you do is just apply a bit of pressure with your thumb on here, a bit of pressure with your thumb on the bell, and just twist it on. Keep the pressure going. It's important to remember what holds the slide and the bell together isn't necessarily the screw, but the force behind it. The screw just keeps whatever force you put on. So if you put on very little pressure and you just screw it on, it'll maintain that small amount of pressure, but you don't want that because your slide will be moving left and right. You want it to stay on there. So you need to apply some pressure. And then the mouthpiece, kind of like the trumpet, just kind of goes inside of this hole on the slide. Now if you're getting confused on what side goes in the trombone and what side goes inside of, or what side the mouthpiece goes in, this part that goes into the slide is slightly longer and has like a smaller little piece coming out than this mouthpiece slide. Mouthpiece is just a hole. The other one, it's kind of longer, as you can see. You see this right here? So, I just almost dropped that. That could have been bad. So, put it on there. When we're talking about holding the trombone with your hand, your left hand will hold it like this. Make a gun, or I sometimes do the rock and roll, but the gun, your thumb will be placed on the pipe right here on the bell, and then your finger should go right here where the mouthpiece is. It could be on the mouthpiece around this area, and then the rest of your hand kind of just goes through this little part in between the slide handle and this end of the bell. I mean, this end of the slide. See, I can kind of just grip it like that. Alright. And that's it. That's it to holding it. It's also important to remember if you're a teacher or a new player, when you're sitting down with it, the bell should just rest on your knee. It shouldn't do it or sit any other way when you're sitting or have it assembled. Because if you just have it on the ground, kids have a tendency to lean on it, or you may have a tendency to hold like this, or if you're standing up you have a tendency to lean on it like that. Don't lean on your trombone, please. Please don't lean on your trombone. What that does to your slide is it makes it bow out. Like this will start going this way, it'll start going this way, and it makes it incredibly hard to play. So, and that's just damage that you don't need repairs for. So I just saved you $100. You should pay me the $100. But before that, you gotta hold your slide right. Now, when we're talking about slides, we also gotta talk about a little bit of management. The slide is very important to keep it managed, keep it clean constantly. Every time you open your case, I don't have one with me, but little spray bottles, like little finger spray bottles, small ones you use to maybe spray your plants even, just spray it on the slide every time you open it up. And then about once a month you should apply some lubrication. I use this stuff called Trombone Slido Mix. It looks like that. Slido Mix. Second. Sorry about the interruption. It's called Slido Mix. And all you do to apply the Slido Mix is you just open up your slide and you just apply a little bit to the tops of each slide and kind of just let it drip down, and then just get it, slide it like that, just spread it around. The idea is that you're trying to create a lubrication so that the inner slide slides out of the outer slide fast enough and smooth enough that there's no interruptions. If you don't properly take care of your slide, you'll find that it's very hard to move it, and that can cause a lot of problems. Because if you can't move your slide, you can't play the instrument. And the trombone is an instrument that requires a lot of precision because of its ability, its nature of not having set positions. And we'll get to that later. But you have to keep it clean. Something I will also go over is up here, you'll see there's a little slide lock. That's what this is called. What that does is when you lock it, when it's on the lock, it keeps the trombone slide from falling off. But you should always hold on to it anyway, but it just keeps from falling off just in case. You can't move it from out this position. All you do to play is just move it to the side, and then you'll have free control. How about we get to posture? Posture is like on the trumpet, it's pretty much the exact same, but we'll go over it again. All you do, you have to sit back straight, make sure your head, shoulders, and back are all aligned, and make sure you're sitting up straight. The trombone should just come up to you. I mentioned this before in my other video, but you should not be leaning into the trombone. The trombone needs to come to you. If you lean in, that blocks the airflow. The air is supposed to go directly from your lungs to your trombone in the easiest, fastest way possible. And the only way to do that is to sit up straight, because that creates a straight passageway for air to come out of it. And it's the most effective way to play. If you slunch over, then you're going to create problems and you're not going to have enough air to support your sound. So we can look at this position from multiple angles for your reference. So we can go straight on, just like that. If we're looking to the side here, just like boom, right here. Look at this angle even. Boom, just like that. But it should be about parallel to the ground, straight from your face. You shouldn't have to extend your face at all. It should just shoot straight up. Okay, now we talked about how to hold the instrument. You're probably wondering things like, well, how do I play the instrument? Before I'm going to teach you how to make sound out of the instrument, it's important to understand how the slide works and the positions that go with that. The trombone fundamentally has 7 positions. I say fundamentally because the trombone technically really doesn't have any positions. When you think of a trumpet, trumpets have valves, right? You push them down, and what those do is those add tubing. Those add certain lengths of tubing to the instrument so that it can create different notes. The trombone obviously doesn't have valves, it has a slide. And what the valves do, like I said, adds tubing. By moving the slide out, you're physically creating more tubing. So you're just doing what the valves do, but taking away the valves, you know what I'm saying? But the trombone fundamentally has 7 positions. And this is what every beginner should know. Let's go over them. First position is all the way in, as close as you can get to yourself. That's what we call first position. Second position, if we're looking at the bell here, it's about halfway between the bell and the thing. Always, always, always when you're warming up or you're playing a song, play with a tuner, especially if you're learning the trombone, because it's very important to develop a good ear. You need to play with a tuner to get the positions better for yourself. A position on this trombone may not be the same position on another trombone, just because of the different people, different sizes, whatever, of the instrument. There's so many different combinations, so many different variables that you need to have a tuner in order to know where your specific positions are. But these are just relative. So second position would be in between the bell and the first position. Third position is about at the bell, maybe a little before the bell. A lot of beginner players have this tendency to reach their fingers up to tell where third position is. If you're a teacher, get your students to stop doing this as fast as possible. You can do that by having them hold a quarter when they hold it. Let's see. Fourth position is a little past the bell. Fifth position is a little extended out. We call this no man's land, kind of. In the trombone universe, we call this no man's land because it's kind of like a guessing game out here. But then if we go to sixth position, you can find that by going all the way out, and you'll see that there's these little lines at the end of your slide. Those are called the stockings. Sixth position is right before the stockings. Seventh position is about at the end of your slide. It's past the stockings, and you definitely will be able to feel it. Most beginner players physically have a very hard time getting past 7th position, and if you go past 7th position, your slide just comes off. That's it. That's the end of your slide. So a lot of beginner players, especially young ones, don't have long enough arms to get to 7th position, so you just have to teach them early on to use their fingers more than their arm to extend. And it's very important when remembering moving to position, holding the slide, you have to hold it a very specific way. Some people have a problem when they start by holding